Well, the man who held many January 6 secrets has just mysteriously died, and died within hours of a brand new announcement about a new select committee hearing in which Nancy Pelosi and her little gang plan to divulge new information that they received from witness testimony. Interesting coincidence? Well, ultimately, I'll let you be the judge because I've got a lot of information that I got to share with you. All right, so let's start first with this mysterious death that happened right before the announcement of this brand new J6 committee hearing where they had new information. Well, who exactly is it that passed away? Well, unfortunately, I don't like it when anyone passed away, so my heart goes out to the family, no matter who you are. But bottom line, the guy that passed away is Michael Stenger, the former U.S. Senator Sergeant at Arms who was in charge of the security that day at January 6th event. Take a look at this article here so we can get a little bit of background information about who he is, and then I'm going to go forward. And here it is. NewYorkPost.com. Senate Sergeant at Arms resigns after riots took over Capitol. Now, the article goes on to state this. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell on Thursday night announced the resignation of the Senate Sergeant at Arms Michael Stenger after pro-Trump rioters easily stormed the Capitol a day earlier. Today, I requested and received the resignation of Michael Stenger, the Senate Sergeant at Arms and doorkeeper, effective immediately, Mitch McConnell said in a statement. All right, so here we have Michael Stenger, right? Our Sergeant at Arms miserably fail on January 6th by not providing the security needed. Nancy Pelosi has a lot of explaining to do on that, but that's unrestricted republic. But I digress. He fails on what happened on January 6th, and the very next day, he resigns. And then he puts out this statement shortly thereafter, which he says what attributed to that. Okay, so take a look here. This is his actual statement before the U.S. Senate Committee on the Homeland Security and Government Affairs. So here's what he's saying. Here's the statement of Honorable Michael Stenger, the former Sergeant at Arms and doorkeeper to the United States Senate. And he's examining the J6 attack. Now, I'm going to go to the very end of it, and this isn't very long. You can see it's a very short report. But here's what he says. There is an opportunity to learn lessons from the events of January 6th. Investigations should be considered as to funding and travel of what appears to be professional agitators. Interesting. Professional agitators. First, Amendment rights should always be considered in conjunction with professional investigations. The law enforcement coordination in the National Capital Region should be reviewed to determine what can be done in a more efficient and productive manner. Intelligence collection and dissemination, training, and concepts on the use of force must be consistent. This integration should be accomplished without regard to self-serving interests and costs. And he concludes, in conclusion, whenever you prepare for a major event, you must always consider the possibility of some form of civil disobedience at these demonstrations and plan accordingly. The events of J6 went beyond disobedience. This was a violent, coordinated attack where the loss of life could have been much worse. So these were his words shortly after what happened at J6. And he's calling it a violent, coordinated attack with the loss of life that could have been much worse. And I also want to highlight that he also talked about professional agitators. In other words, people paid to do something by an organization or something to that idea. FBI informants would fall into that category. And obviously, a lot of information has come out about that recently. But I digress. So this is the man who I believe harbors many secrets that happened that day at January 6th because he was one of the people directly involved. Now, right now, what happens next is very interesting. And that is that Michael Stenger dies just before the announcement of a brand new J6 committee hearing. And here it is. NewYorkPost.com. Michael Stenger, Senate Security Chief on January 6, dies before a hearing. The article goes on. Michael Stenger, who resigned a day after the pro-Trump riots easily stormed the Capitol on J6 2021, died Monday morning, Politico reports. It goes on. His death came one day before Tuesday's abruptly added J6 panel hearing, during which the aide of former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows will testify to present recently obtained evidence and receive witness testimony. Cassidy Hutchinson, who served as a special assistant in the White House during the Trump administration, will take the stand to provide intel on last year's Capitol insurrection and the administration's response. It goes on. The House panel has yet to explain the newly added 1 p.m. hearing after Washington lawmakers were away on a 2-week recess. The committee said last week no more hearings would be held until July. Obviously, here is the announcement of the J6 committee hearing. The select committee hearing will convene a hearing tomorrow, the 28th at 1 p.m. to present recently obtained evidence and receive witness testimony. All right. So here it is. Here we have, right before that announcement, the Senate former Sergeant at Arms mysteriously dies. And then hours later, we have this announcement. Now, according to this announcement, he was not scheduled to be one of the speakers at that particular event. The person who is speaking is obviously who the article talked about, and that's Cassidy Hutchinson, who served as a special assistant in the White House during the Trump administration. At least that is the story that we are getting from the J6 committee. However, I find it curious and curiouser, if you will, to really describe things that are going on with J6, that this whole thing happened with the timing. Now, was he ever going to speak out? I have no idea. The family is stating right now that his death had nothing to do with January 6th. So there you kind of have all the cards. Right now, we don't know what happened. We don't know anything surrounding it. I don't know the facts of why it happened or any of that, but I just find it rather curious and intriguing, the timing of this whole thing. After all, Nancy Pelosi has still a lot of questions to answer, because here's the thing. Both the House and the Sergeant of Arms are elected and confirmed by their chambers, right? In this case, they report to the heads of those chambers. That would be on January 6th, it was Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, right? That's who they answer to. So I would lay the blame for a lot of what happened on Capitol 6 and us not having a lot of enough security on Nancy Pelosi, right? But yet nobody is allowed to address that or ask those questions at this J6 hearing. In fact, a lot of the information has been kept from the public. Here we go here. This is on the Federalist. Pelosi is blocking access to House J6 records. Good question. What is she hiding? Here's another thing. Biden FBI also joined in on Pelosi in blocking the GOP. Why would you do that? From investigating January 6th. And here's an interesting article I'm just going to throw out there to you. 1,000 reasons Pelosi is to blame for security failures on January 6th. So there you have it. You have all these questions surrounding this bodunk fake committee, which, by the way, their ratings were sloppy. The majority of their audience was just Democrats, little to no Republicans, little to no independents. Watch that whole sham January 6th event, because it's just a political ploy. All that I believe that is about is not getting Republicans in office. It has everything to do with the election. They want to try to win more votes for the Democrats by framing Republicans in a very bad light, by calling Republicans insurrectionists. This is what the J6 is all about. It's a political game in which they are using any little thing that they can, pulling a needle out of a haystack, or trying to make something of nothing. Making a mountain out of a molehill would be a better word, making a mountain out of a molehill. That is what this committee is all about. So the bottom line with this committee is all about getting votes for the Democrat Party. That's it. That's it. Let's try to get advertisers and financial people not to fund certain people that they believe could be linked to January 6th and the whole 9 yards, because the Democrats are desperate. Very, very, very desperate right now. Over 1 million people have converted to Republicans. This was a brand new, I believe it was report or a report that was put out by a news agency, but 1 million people recently have converted or came or joined, if you will, or subscribed to the Republican Party. Far more than Democrats. They know they're in for a crash landing in this 2022 election. By the way, see that report I have on Restricted Republic? Your jaw is going to drop. The one I put out today with Joe Biden's face and the word alert in the front. Anyhow, love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns on all of this. And again, please don't forget to check out my brand new partner, Go Nuts with Lisa. Sorry, can't help it. But they've got lots of amazing treats. This one right here is a maple. And by the way, this is a good snack to have. It's healthy. It's superfood. It gives you that energy that you need. And it comes in multiple different flavors. But here's just some of the nut one. You can see the nuts here that they have in this one. But this is your maple flavor. So if you like nuts, you're going to love that. But they also have spicy citrus. And hopefully you're not hungry. But barbecue. And of course, for those chocolate lovers. Oh my. It's really, really good. But check it out. It puts trail mix to shame. It gives you that energy that you desperately need. But go to gonutswithlisa.com and you can get up to 20% off. All right. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven signing out.